Snowy Sunday morning in Vaughan, Ontario, but we're here for a great cause. It is the Raptors for Research 3-on-3 tournament supported by the good folks at MLSE and, of course, the Mount Sinai Hospital. We got Nav in the building, and so we're going to find out a lot more about exactly what this event is designed to support. Now joined by Dr. Gary Newton, the COO of Mount Sinai Health. Talk to me about what's happening today.
Today is Raptors for Research, a charity event to raise funds for Lunenfeld Tannenbaum Research Institute.
All right, so what's the goal here? Is there a financial goal or maybe an awareness goal that you're going to try to achieve?
Both. We need to raise money. Research is expensive, lots of expensive people, equipment, supplies, and we need profile. The community has to know what we're doing, and they need to support research broadly.
This is such a good cause. I had an opportunity to go to Mount Sinai Hospital Research Center, and I tell you, I didn't understand much there because they do it to such a high level. But I got one thing out of it. What they're doing is so important for the humanity and helping save lives every moment. So that's why I'm here, and it's so good. And look at everybody, 600 people here at 8 in the morning on a Sunday. That tells you everybody loves this event and they want to support it.
Raise the generations who will reach for the North Star.
Anna, talk to me about your spoken word piece and how you kind of wrote that piece specifically for this event.
Yes, I wrote it definitely specifically for this event. It was really about the culture of basketball ingrained in the city of Toronto and using that as momentum to support such a great organization and bridging the gap between support for the community through healthcare, but also our love for the game of basketball and channeling that passion to bring people together here.
But first and foremost, why is it so important for you guys to be here?
I mean, anytime Nav calls me, I never say no because he has a heart of gold and he does everything in a way that makes a difference. And look at this team. I mean, look at us. We're here together to just do something special.
Well, you know it's a good cause when a couple musicians agree to show up to something at Sunday at 8 a.m. That's how you know it's important.
That's a fact.
As a father, Javon, I know this is close to your heart because of the kind of work they do with young children.
This is it. Like, this is all it's about. And, you know, when we talk about young children, I think that's sensitive to all of our hearts because we've been there. We've all been young children. We have young kids. Our families have young kids. So, you know, just to be able to have that impact, you know, that community there is special.
Anticipation for leading score.
I'm just going to throw it to Javon. Can you still dunk?
Absolutely not.
I had dreams about throwing you alley-oops last night. Can we do it?
Come on. Why didn't you ask if we could dunk?
Oh, no, I'm not dunking. I'm not dunking.
The goal here is to raise funds, but is there a specific number you set up?
You know, we hope to raise close to $1 million, and the way things are going, we were over $750 prior to this event, and fundraising is going on until 3 p.m. today. So things are moving along very, very nicely. You see the energy, enthusiasm here. People are having a great time, and research is so critical. And the way to move to cutting edge is through philanthropy. So this is an event for the future for sure, yeah.
All right, so exactly where does the money go?
So the money for this event supports our Lunenfeld Tannenbaum Research Institute. So it's an institute that is part of the Sinai Health System, and it really conducts world-class research on cancer, women and infants, especially high-risk pregnancies, diabetes, neuroscience. It is really a world-class institute that we're very proud to have at Sinai.
And with all that being said, we wrap up our Raptors for Research 3-on-3 Sunday, but if you guys want to continue to support this amazing cause, head to raptorsforresearch.com. I'm Akil, we out.
Welcome back to the lineup. Forum, 551 on Yonge Street. Toronto, City Champions, best city in the world. Save the date, May 13th. First WNBA game ever played in Canada. What are your thoughts?
too pumped. Honestly, the second I found out, I'm like, in my calendar, 4 different calendars, on my wall, on my magnet.
Nice.
Everything. So I'm pumped. I think we're all pumped in the city, man or woman. We're all pumped, excited. It's about time, man.
For sure.
It's about time.
Well, I mean, the pressure's on us right now. I think that's the most important thing that we need to realize. I talked to some people in the front office, and what they've talked at the WNBA, and what they've talked about is the fact that they've been using analytics to dictate where they're going to put these franchises. So if you are a women's basketball fan, and if you have not bought a jersey, put yourself on that waiting list for the tickets, then you're doing yourself a disservice if you're saying you're a fan. Because what they're doing is they're looking at the numbers. They're only going to put the games where the bodies are, where the butts are going to be the seats. And so I think that's the biggest opportunity for Toronto basketball fans and for fans of the WNBA here, is to make sure they put their money where their mouth is, because we've done that so often, and that's kind of why the game's blossoming.
Yeah, and there's a huge appetite for more basketball, period. And I know we're talking about Toronto, but remember, this is for a whole nation. It's not just Toronto. So in terms of women's basketball, the growth of the game, I always think about the impact that the Raptors had, right? And you can see it now. Imagine how much a WNBA team here will impact women across this country.
So what is it going to take? Like, we've seen the drop off of young women over the years drop out of playing sports, like, going through high school, as the case would be. What do you think it's going to take for us as community leaders, community builders, to keep young women in sports?
So glad you asked this. Perfect segue, as if it were planned. So as we were talking, I was thinking of an organization, a program called Hoop Queens, put on by Kisa. Shout out to Kisa.
Nice.
It's a women's summer league. It is awesome. There's women who come support one. There's men also who come. It's the whole community.
I'm there. It's the first paid women's summer league.
There you go. Right? Everyone just comes to support one another. Why? The fundamentals of women ball is something you can't deny. It's a beautiful game to watch, right? So I think we should have more organizations, more paid program, right? I think that we're well on our way.
There's been a bit of runway here with Memphis. With all the ongoings going on in Memphis, how do you think what's going on in Memphis is going to affect their playoff hopes?
The apology has been issued for Ja Morant in the incident where people think he showed a gun on his IG Live. For me, I think the thing that stands out the most to me is how it's being handled by the media. Because look, Ja's going to take time away from the game. The organization's obviously going to challenge him to grow up as a 23-year-old man, to learn from his mistakes, and to really be more responsible, to maybe check his peer group, because it's not an isolated incident. There's no truth to corroborate the other incidents, but the storyline's kind of following him now.
When Memphis played here in Toronto, he had a great game. He had a post-game interview. For one, the arena was packed. Two, nobody left the arena until he finished his interview, and as he jogged to the locker room, the whole arena shifted. Right?
The gravity of Ja Morant.
Right, the gravity of Ja Morant. So there's an influence, there's an impact that he has. And you think about that, little things like that. There's a kid in a neighborhood that wants to be like Ja Morant right now. He's going to hoop in the park, he's going to hoop at school, but he's carrying his gun in his back because he's like, yeah, I'm lit, I'm like that, right? And that's the part that's concerning. I'm more disappointed with Ja's father.
You're in the know, you know what's going on with this
You're in the know, you've also watched the rise and the fall of a lot of other athletes.
Yeah, to echo what you guys all just said, we all make mistakes, right? As long as we learn from them, and I do agree with Javon, it falls, I think, on his dad.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Absolutely.
It's more than just your family. Now you gotta look after your team, your fans, your other team's fans. Toronto's fans, like you said, followed him to the locker room and support and love. You have all of these people who wanna see you strive and excel, and you're kind of letting them down. So I kind of do see this as the start of the fall of Memphis.
All right, so with all the movement we've had, trade deadline. Golden State's rolling again. KD's in Phoenix. Kyrie's in Dallas. Who do we got in the West this year, guys? Talk to me.
Coming out of the West, I think I'm still going with Golden State, because you can't take away a team that has winning pedigree, right? And they've dealt with adversity this year. We started with Draymond and Jordan Poole. But you look at the season Jordan Poole is having right now, he's still having one of his best seasons, right? Probably his best season. His points are up, his assists are up. So you take that now, Curry just coming back from injury as well, him getting back into the mix of things. I think
this is a team you have to watch out for.
I got to move off my original pick because I had the Clippers coming out of the West. I was really excited with what this group could have done. I took the Clippers. I had the Clippers coming out of the West. Don't look at it like it was a crazy selection. You look at on paper what that Clippers team was coming into the league with this year.
Are you talking to Uncle Dennis? Did you know Kawhi was playing?
Listen. I had faith that Kawhi had rested enough over the last couple of years that he'd be able to at least play.
Last couple of years sounds weird, eh?
He's had a couple of years of taking back-to-backs off and being selective with the matchups he chooses to play. So I thought this was the year that understanding time waits for no man, that he would have a sense of urgency about bringing that championship to the Clippers that he thought he was going there to bring. So I move off the Clippers now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm going to have to side with the Phoenix Suns solely because of the presence of Kevin Durant, sorry. Solely because of that, honestly, because I think he's a big enough talent that with what they have already there, that they can, get a bump.
I love this because I think we are choosing all different teams right now. Yeah. I'm going to go with Mile High City. Okay, Jamal, our Canadian boy is back. Okay. He's coming back, right? Yeah. I agree with you in the sense where maybe he can't stand alone and defend. With a healthy Murray, I really do think they can take it.
I think this is the first time in my life where I've looked at the top 3 seeds in a conference and said, no, they're not taking it.
None of them,
right?
yeah.
I don't look at Memphis, I don't look at Denver, I don't look at Sacramento and say that any of these teams are going to be there in the conference finals.
You know what? I like Denver a lot. I've been calling these guys like the last 2 years, right? It was all barring injury. Reggie Jackson, huge pickup, because this guy got the Clippers into the play-in last year, right?
Yes.
Because those guys were hurt. Paul George was hurt all season last year. Kawhi obviously didn't play. This guy got them in, and they actually moved him. I'm actually surprised that they actually got rid of him. Huge pickup for Denver. So looking at the play-in teams, who's got the best shot?
Are we talking about play-in teams fighting or
making some noise? I thought.
Okay, teams making noise.
Yeah. So I'm going Clippers in Toronto there.
What do you think?
Love that. I was gonna go Raptors too. You read my mind. I actually thought with Pirtle back, it would be a negative thing.
Really?
To be honest, I saw the way he was playing in San Antonio. I'm like, crap, this isn't good.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Exactly, 100%. Change of scenery. He's back with his boy, Pascal.
Yeah.
So, Pirtle, I apologize.
Yeah.
But no, I love it. The heart's there again.
Yeah.
I mean, after 2019, the heart kind of fell away. Kawhi went to the West.
True.
Kind of went back into a closet.
True.
But it's back.
Yeah. And the rim protection. True 7-footer.
Amazing, yeah.
There's just a different vibe. They're more enthusiastic, and then you hear how everybody talks about Pirtle, and he seems to be a funny guy.
Yes.
Right. You don't get that on the court.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
You don't get that on the court, but every player seems to speak on how he's changed the locker room.
Really?
So that's a positive, and I think now you're getting, like you said, rim protection. You're getting another guy that can facilitate. He's shown to be able to facilitate. Yeah. So there's not a demand for Pascal and Fred and Scotty to get others involved. Now it's just an addition to what they already have, and you have that other dimension now.
They can play their role.
Yeah.
They don't need to play another person's role.
You hit the nail on the head. There's a chain reaction with him. Of course, first it's the rim protection for me, but I think the second thing is Raptors struggle in the half court. And when you have a really strong pick and roll, which is what you allow to have with the great screen set by Pirtle, it kind of creates more of a pecking order offensively that you can start out of the pick and roll instead of more ISO possessions. And then you talk about bumping Gary Trent to the bench and having a true 6-man and allowing him to take the pressure off that group that struggled so much this year. I think it's just a huge chain reaction of having Pirtle on the court. It may come as a surprise to Canadian basketball fans, but in the WNBA, Canada is mainly represented by 3 players. Natalie Achanwa, the 30-year-old Notre Dame alum known for her length and defensive intensity out of Guelph, Ontario, won't be on the floor to start this season as she will be adding a new role to her resume as a mother. When she does return to the floor for the Minnesota Lynx, she will be the longest tenured of the Canadians in the dub. Her Lynx teammate and fellow Canadian Bridget Carleton will have to hold it down in her absence. Carleton, who hails from Chatham, Ontario, will be entering her 5th season in the dub after being drafted by the Connecticut Sun and eventually finding a home with the Lynx. After a stand-up performance with the national team at the FIBA World Championships, Carleton is looking to take that next step at the professional ranks. The sixth woman has carved out a role for herself in Minnesota as a reliable guard in a backcourt that now features free agent signee Tiffany Mitchell. And then we have the return of former Phoenix Mercury All-Star and Raptors broadcaster and Hamilton's very own Kia Nurse. After taking time to rehab from an ACL injury that occurred during the Mercury's 2021 playoff run, Nurse is set to return to the Dub at full strength. Nurse did get healthy in time to play for and take on a leadership role with Canada's women's team at the FIBA World Cup in 2022, and she also made headlines when she chose to sign with the Seattle Storm. Now eyes are on Nurse as the talented and versatile former number 10 overall pick looks to stabilize the Storm after the departure of basketball icon Sue Bird. Welcome into the set of Raptors Today. Akil Augustine joined by Sherman Hamilton and the principal Paul Jones talking NBA stat padding. Is it an issue? We've had Jokic being accused of things by Kendrick Perkins. We've had Giannis go Ricky Davis on us for a triple-double. And of course the situation in Memphis with Jaren Jackson's rebounds and blocks. Gentlemen, is there an issue in the NBA around the stats? Jonesy?
I would say no. I think the NBA is pretty diligent at monitoring it. So if guys are trying to cook the books and bend the numbers a little bit, they're on it. They review. I mean, in Toronto, we've seen Pascal lose a triple-double. We saw Fred VanVleet just a few days ago lose a double-double because the NBA reviews and makes sure that they're legit. But that doesn't mean players aren't going to try.
Yeah.
And that's out there. And the issue is numbers lead to numbers. You get paid based on your stats. And, you know, we've talked about it before. Something like a triple-double. I mean, you look at Russ wins an MVP, Russell Westbrook, because he averages historically a triple-double. Hadn't been done since Oscar Robertson. You get to Jokic now, about to win his third MVP. What's he famous for? The triple-double.
Yep.
So those are all part of the stuff that feeds into it.
Yeah, I think, you know, no, there's not a stat padding problem in the NBA. I think typically what you see is players try to work the system a little bit. Sometimes people at the scorer's table don't get it right. And the NBA has to monitor that. Now, when it's egregious in terms of what a Giannis did, or as you mentioned, Ricky Davis, when it's egregious like that, it's easy to call out, right? But there's so much subjectivity now because everything's not happening based on the letter of the law. And there is some wiggle room in there. So might there be some promotion for stars to allow them to get a little bit? Yeah, but I wouldn't call it stat padding.
All right, now how much of this maybe is reflected in the inflation of the numbers? We got guys dropping 70. We got the game being played at a different speed and pace.
I will say this. Donovan Mitchell, 71. If you look at the free throw he missed that he caught and he ended up making the bucket to send it to overtime.
Lane violation.
It was a lane violation.
So
he scored 13 more points in that overtime.
Yes.
To get to 71. The game should have been over at that point. So that's a missed call. Do I think that's an issue in terms of the league trying to inflate things? No, but it's a missed call.
Also, the pace of the game is increased scoring.
Lots more possessions, and I will always right now default to the line by Charlotte head coach Steve Clifford. We settle for a lot of okay possessions now, whereas back in the day, we had to get good or great possessions. The volume, numbers increase, there's your issue.
All right, do remember Raptors Today is your home for everything Toronto Raptors after game days. You can catch us right here breaking it down on NBA TV Canada.
So I've been suffering for about 20 years. It's been a long 20 years. It's okay to laugh, it's okay.
Pain and suffrage.
My Knicks though. What do you think? We look good.
Listen,
You look good.
I'm giving you your flowers. This you called it, so I'm not afraid to give it to you. They're playing some good basketball. I think Jalen Brunson, the addition there, you brought in a guy that's just a winner.
I don't think anybody saw this.
Right.
Upside from him.
Yeah, it just started to go trend up from there. And I think what happened was you took some of that pressure off of Julius Randle. And just there's a disposition, there's a composure and a calmness that comes with Jalen Brunson. When the ball's in his hands, everybody else just seems to, we're okay. Yeah. We'll figure it out. And then everybody there just seems to embody Tibbs' tough, hard-nosed style of play. So they've got to continue. I'm not going to give you all. I'll give you half a dozen of some flour, but they're on the right track right now.
But to piggyback on your point about Tibbs, it's impressive to see a guy stick to his guns like that, because they were calling for his head for so long. And you've got to give a coach who understands the makeup of his team and is willing to stick to the game plan that he set out the credit. Because there are times where I was ready to give up on this Knicks team because they looked like they didn't understand what type of basketball they wanted to play.
I really like the way RJ's been playing. I really do. Putting up 29 points against Boston. That's amazing. We were speaking about John Morant, right? This is how I think young players should be playing. Not only on the court, but off the court too.
Hi and welcome to The Drop, the lifestyle sneaker show that gets you caught up on all the good stuff out now and coming soon. I'm your host Joe, aka Joe is the New Black. Time for some fun. Let's go. Check out this racer blue colorway of the Nike Air Max Scorpion. Yes, this unique silhouette, which was developed completely during the pandemic, boasts the most air in terms of pounds per square inch, resulting in a dynamic ride and next level all-day cushioning. It features a royal blue Flyknit chenille upper, white laces, and semi-translucent burnt orange visible air cushion and outsole. Hong Kong streetwear brand Clot and Nike team up once again on this special version of the Clotez, aka the Clot Nike Cortez, this time as a tribute to one of the GOATs, Bruce Lee. The shoe features a Kung Fu inspired silhouette and flexible 3-in-1 design. First, we got a Nike Yellow Cortez, which features a premium leather upper, black swoosh, and nylon tongue. The accompanying slip-on pays homage to traditional Kung Fu footwear and comes in black with yellow swooshes. It's got drawstring fastenings with yin and yang symbols, a serrated outsole, and removable insoles. Puma is set to drop a nice colorway in LaMelo Ball signature shoe. Check out the Puma MBO2 in this Electro Aqua colorway. The shoe features a nitro-infused midsole for cushioning, non-slip rubber outsole, engineered mesh upper with Melo and Puma branding on the heel and tongue. It's also got Melo's wing graphics on the sides and the word rare underneath the outsole. One of the most coveted Air Jordans returns. Check out the Air Jordan 3 in this white cement reimagined colorway. The shoe honors the pair Michael Jordan wore 35 years ago with some vintage vibes, including yellowed midsole, eyelets, and back tap. We got classic Nike Air branding on the heel, iconic fire red Jordan Jumpman logo on the tongue, and an updated elephant print which replicates the original '88 pattern. Wow. And finally, the women have a sweet exclusive release coming. Check out the Air Max 187 in this great indoors colorway. The shoe features bold prints and textures which include unexpected patterns inspired by rich interiors and even area rugs. The shoe features a floral patterned toe box with velvety laces, silky black liner, and icy blue outsole. And that's it for this week's episode. So many kicks, so little time. We'll see you next time with more good stuff on The Drop. Thanks for watching.